All right, so let me bring up the, yeah, so this is the folder that we'll be working with. We're just going to be continuing with it. We're just going to be continuing with it. Okay, great, it's up. Yeah, let's start with switch before going to loops. So switch statements, they are like a different form of conditionals, right? So remember, conditionals and decision making, we're supposed to use them for, making decisions based on conditions, right? Just like the ones from our previous class. So this is a condition, and these are the actions that can be carried out if those conditions are true. So switch statements are just like a different form of conditionals operator. So how it works is you switch between actions based on which of the case is true. Let me write it out so that at least we see what it looks like. Switch, the variable that, so this is now it's written, but just follow me. The variable that is switched upon right? Then case, the case or the condition, right? So let me just call it condition. Then the action. And then a break statement. Then you can now have like this multiple times to case n. N means unlimited. To case n and action and then one last one, just like if else statement. Our last command in the if else statement is else, right? So for switch statement, the last command is default, then you're good to go, right? So this is just basically how it looks like. But I'm going to be switching a couple of things here. So let's say that, what do I use now? So let's use this formal situation. Let me use this. Are you a member of prime bar? If yes or no. So this is the situation, right? Or this is the condition. Let me put it that way. So this is the question, and then we're receiving the answer. And this is the variable that I want to switch upon. So this member, I would put it in here. That's the variable that I want to switch upon. And then the condition would be either yes or no. And I'm going to remove all of these other ones. And then a default. So if yes, what do we want to do? We want to welcome them to prime bar. You are welcome to prime bar. If no, what do we want to do? We want to deny them access. You are not welcome to prime bar. Then default, what will I put here? Let me just put default for now. What we have on this screen wasn't all done today, at least. We've been working on this code for the past 3 weeks, so that's why this is where we started today. 176, line 176 is where we started today. Everything from here upward was done from 2 weeks ago and last week. So you don't need to be, we've not gone far. Okay, great. Yeah, so this is where we are. So I'm going to, let's run this. You can't see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. I think it's from his end.
Okay, let me just restart the screen. So please, now let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen. You can.
Okay. So you can see that my terminal is open, right? Okay. All right, then let's continue. So now what I want to do is I want to run the code. Wow. Okay, so basically there is lots of issues here. Let's see. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. 181, 182, 183. Okay, so let me switch. I think this is the issue, yeah. So it's supposed to be small letter S, not capital letter. I think that's the issue. I was wondering why the default was not even covered. Okay, so let's try this again. 189. Control cannot fail out of switch from final case label. Let's see, default. Yeah, oh my God. I think, do I need a break here? So I still have an issue with my VS Code not showing me errors, and I still haven't fixed it. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it's working. I think I need a break in my default. So I thought maybe because it was the last statement, I didn't need a break there. Okay, so I'm going to put in yes. Input string was not in the correct format. Okay, so what is happening now? Oh my God. Give me a second. It's supposed to be a string. I'm comparing it to a string here. This is receiving a string also. So why system number passing?
It's asking a different question. It's saying, how old are you?
Is there anyone I didn't? Oh, okay, I didn't comment this out. I didn't even read the question. Yeah, welcome to Prime Bar. How old are you? Yeah, this is, I didn't comment that out. I wasn't even reading the question. Can you imagine? Thank you for spotting that out. I would have been looking at this point and not noticing that I was answering a different question. Are you a member of Prime Bar, yes or no? Okay, so I think yes, and you're welcome to Prime Bar. So now we're switching between our answers, and if I put in no, you're not welcome to Prime Bar. And then the default is if you pass in any other thing, that's probably, allowed, but not part of our case. So if I put in just about anything, just goes to the default and then prints out what's in the default. That's like our else statement. So it's just like our if else statement. So if I say if member is equals to yes, do this. Else if member is equals to no, do this. Else this. So it's more like a different way of using conditionals, or a more, neater way of using conditionals. What if, so yeah, this is quite simple and straightforward, right? But some persons want to, use it for like all statements or more complex stuff. First thing to note is it might not really be able to, you might not be able to use switch statements for and operators, but you could use it for all operators, right? So all operator, all you need to do is, let's see, what can I do now? Okay. Let's see. What states are you from, right? So I could say case Lagos, case Ogun, case Oyo, then from the west, right? Then I could say case Delta, case of Accord, or that's Rivers. Rivers, case, let's say Akwa Ibom, you are from the, let's see, you are from the south. Then let me just do this, copy this to down here, then do case Abia, case Imo, case what other states in the east, my bad. Oh my god, I don't remember another state from the east. Abia, Imo, Enugu, yeah, case Enugu, we are from the east. Then case case Kaduna, case Kano, case Abuja, you are from the north, right? So this is like all statement, right? If let me change this to states and change this to states. So yeah, more or less saying if state is equal to Lagos, or state is equal to Ogun, or state is equal to Oyo, print this, right? So let's try this out. Okay, what state are you from? So let me start with Delta. You are from the south rather. Then let me do Imo. You are from the east. Let me do Kano. You are from the north. Let me do Lagos. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I mistakenly pressed enter here without typing anything and it went straight to default because that's like the else. What did I do? Run. Then let me do let me try out Oyo because I've already done Lagos. Okay, you're from the west. I didn't quite do Lagos. So now let me do Lagos. So I could just type in anything and just filters and looks for my region and returns that. So that's like an or statement. But we can't really do and statement because if I do something like Lagos and see, let me see what other states is in the south, in the west here. Let's see.
Ocean State.
Ocean State. Okay, so let's try this. It's supposed to throw an error. Supposed to throw an error that operator and cannot be applied to operands of string and string. So, there are ways that some persons can, think around this to create an and statement kind of thing, but purely and statements do not really work for switch, right? Now, you might want to ask, why is this break here? So all of these breaks, why are they here? So if I were to remove the breaks, what would happen? Let's see. So what will happen is it won't break out of the switch statement. So if I pick on Lagos, it would pick here and print the rest, right? Let's see. Well, it's not even allowing me to do this without the break, right? So I think in JavaScript, you could mistakenly do this without the break and it would allow, but control cannot fall through from one case label, case Oyo to another. Okay, so I think they made it strongly typed that you're not even allowed to go without the break. But previously, I think when I was learning, you could mistakenly forget the break and then it will run. But when you type in Oyo, it prints this, and just prints everything. But in this case, if you type in Oyo and it goes in, when it comes back out, it sees the breakpoint and then it just jumps out of the switch statement. So that's something else you might want to learn about switch statements. Then let's see what else. So there's also something called pattern matching, I think. Yeah, there's something called pattern matching. So yeah, pattern matching. So pattern matching is a scenario where you are not looking for an exact. I have a lot of switches cool. I think I am falling in love. Okay. All right. So all right. Yeah. So pattern matching is in a scenario where what you want to switch between is not a particular straightforward value. Let me just show you what I mean before I forget. So let me remove this also. So a scenario where you want to figure out, you're trying to do like a result sheet for your class. Probably a teacher you're trying to create, or you're trying to code a result sheet for your class, and you're like, okay, let me see. Let me just copy this so I don't need to type it all. Okay, so I'm going to comment it out now. It's going to be, what is your score, right? Then because this is going to be a number, I'm going to convert it to an integer using int.parse. So I've been using int.parse for a while now. And then during the quiz session, some people forgot that that's what I've been using to convert from string to integers. So I'm going to change this to score. So one thing you want to be naming, you want to do is understand naming conventions. Naming conventions means that when you're naming stuff, you want to make sure that the name is actually defined, right? What do I mean? So remember, okay, what I did here was int state int.parse console read line. So someone that sees this will be thinking that I'm storing a state in this variable, whereas I'm not storing a state in this variable. But if I do int score int.parse console read line, the person would know that even without looking at this line, the person will know that okay, I'm storing a score. So they might want to now come to this line to know what kind of store I'm storing. But you want to look at a method, and you want to look at the name of a method, and you want to know what that method is doing. You want to look at the name of a variable, and you want to know what that variable is doing without looking something else. So you want to make sure that the way you're naming your variables is actually defined, so that when someone else comes, they want to see and understand what you're doing. Switch score. So I want to switch on the score. Now, pattern matching is, remember, in school, 70 to 100 is A, 60 to 69 is B, 50 to 59 is C, stuff like that, right? So I want to give someone an A or a B based on their score. But if I say case 70, whoever is above 70 will not be able to get this, because if I type in 71, to just see that, oh, 70 is not 71. So now in such a scenario, I could do something like, I could now match it using pattern. I could say case var, so that's variable, or let me just use int. Let me just call it score from user. So this is like a name, right? It could be anything. It could be int x, could be int a. But because I said I want it to be definitive, you want to know what it's doing. Score from user. Then when score from user is greater than 70, right? So I created a variable. In this case, I created a variable, and I'm using the when keyword when that variable is greater than 70, or let me say greater than or equal to 70. Then what do I want to do? I want to print also the right line, you add an E, right? Okay, then break. So I want to greater than or equal to 60. Oh, we have 10 minutes left. Greater than or equal to 50. Then greater than or equal to 40. Then I'm going to call default and console the right line, you add an F. Is that correct? I don't even know if that's correct. An F. Let's see. A B, A C, D, A D. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let me just call this you add an F, and there's no whatever. There's no E. Well, this is not really accurate, so let's just leave it like that. Now, let's see. let's run this. .NET run. I'm missing something. Yeah, I'm missing this and I'm missing the break. Okay, so the name int does not exist in the, yeah. Okay, so I think I'm making a mistake somewhere here. Or I think I don't need to put the data type. Let's see. I haven't quite used this before, but I know it exists, right? So give me a second. Let me figure this out shortly. Let me use a generic let me use this.
How will you relate the score and the score of score from user together from
Sorry,
the code?
can you say that again?
I said, how will you relate the score and the score from user from the input? I don't know if you get the question. Because there's a score int and there's also score from user. So how will you relate the two? Because I'm guessing the score and the score from user should have the same value from the inputs.
Okay, I'm coming. Let me just try this first before answering your question. The name int, I think the issue is from even this int that pass. So there's always this issue of, yeah, so the issue was this int here of capital and small letters. Okay, yeah, so how would you relate this? So what this is saying here is I'm filtering this one. I'm switching this variable. Now this score from user is another variable that I decided to use. So I could switch it to anything I want. I could switch it to X and just say case X when X is, right? So it's more or less like saying whatever value is passing through here, I want to store it in X. Then I want to now filter or match it like using when X is, right? So I'm putting the value here and then using the value to now filter this. And that's what's happening there. So let's try this out. And let me use 65 and you add a B. So it's filtered here and so that, okay, above 60 is a B. And then if I do like 42, that is D. And if I go to, let's say 71, you add an A. Then if I go lesser than 40, like 39, you add an F. And that is how it works. So the first error was on this int.pass. I don't know, I keep mistaking the casing here and here. So that means I could use int here, and because it gave that error, I thought it was talking about this int. And let's see, I should be able to use int here because it's an integer. Yeah, 43, what I'm doing, you add 18, not 20. So yeah, so it's like after the case, I would create a variable, then I would now filter from that variable using the when keyword. This is the pattern matching method here. Using the when keyword, I'll now filter that variable. When it's called as normally, if I say case 70, it would ignore everything above 70. Let me show you this. If I say 70, it will pick 70. But if I say 71, it will go to this next one because 71 is above 60, right? So if I even say 60 here, 50, and then it's just jump to default. And that is why pattern matching is an advantage in this method when you want to filter not just a generic or a specific value, but a range of values. Okay, great. So let's end this video here. Then I'm going to start it all over again. So just join immediately so that we'll talk on loops.